The underwater world is one that's full of mysteries. We've hardly mapped our oceans, but yet every year researchers make fascinating discoveries. One of the most recent ones is this mysterious underwater anomaly that looks strikingly similar to a pyramid. This discovery was made by ET database, and one of the most interesting things about this underwater anomaly is the massive trail that can be seen behind it. This has led some to speculate the object actually moved at one point in time, with one person saying the following: "I like the look of this one. It's important to remember that 99% of Earth's history is not known. Many civilizations have come and gone, and what we're looking at could be one of the oldest pyramids on our planet. They have been found all over the world, and there's no reason why this couldn't be just that." Others said that this structure is massive, and that it doesn't look like it's been naturally formed. The trail that can be seen behind the object also reminded some of the Baltic Sea anomaly, which also has a similar trail. Interestingly, this isn't the only underwater pyramid that's been discovered. One that's been shrouded in mystery is that of the Fujian Lake Pyramid. This mystery is located in Fujian Lake, which can be found in the Yunnan province in China. This discovery was made back in 2006. Many reports were made by divers and water enthusiasts that would boat on the lake. They claim that the appearance of what seems to be underwater buildings could be seen. Enough reports were made that a team of archaeological divers decided to search the lake. They discovered the remains of a group of huge ancient buildings at the bottom of the lake. The most noted of them is a vast stone pyramid located in the centre. The archaeologists were stumped on how this massive structure got here completely intact. When they looked back through the historical records, they found evidence of an ancient city that was established in the area that is now Lake Fujian. However, this doesn't close the case on the mysterious pyramid. The local legends told the city sank to the bottom of the lake. The historical records that were kept showed that the once capital was made mostly of wood and clay, but the remains that are found at the bottom of the lake are made entirely of stone. Surveys of the lake have revealed the complex at the bottom of the Fujian Lake covers 10.8 million square feet. This is far larger than the once capital had ever been. So the mystery remains: why was such a large city left without any remaining trace? What thickens the plot is that the archaeological team went on to find carvings resembling a wearable mask. However, the masks have flat cheeks and indented teeth that do not match the facial characteristics of a human head. Another stone mask was found later that had zeros and ones carved into the design. Some bricks of stones were also found on the buildings that had engravings that is similar in appearance to the Roman numeral 1 and the English letter Y. The question that then arises with this is not so much the unusual carvings themselves, but the fact that if this underwater pyramid is over 1,800 years old, what tools would have been used to make these carvings? As researchers have said that nothing from that time period would have been able to make something so detailed. David Polite is best known for the missing 411 books. These were self-published works that looked into disappearances in national parks. It's an interesting topic to look into. Yearly around 250,000 people go missing, some of which happen in national parks around our planet. It's reported that thousands of people have gone missing in these regions, and the majority of them are never found, causing various theories to be put forward for what happened to them. Many of these disappearances happen in the United States, but what's so strange about them is their nature and consistency. In nearly all of the accounts, people will disappear from thin air within minutes. Many examples detail how said individual will be in sight, then moments later they vanish. The group will then start shouting the person's name only to hear nothing back. One question that's been put forward is, why do so many of these cases follow this theme? How could someone disappear within minutes of being separated from the group? Some of the people were experiencing the outdoors as well, only causing more questions to be asked. Some such hikers even laying out plans of travel, backup phones in case of emergency, and telling family members and friends where their trail will be covering and so on. but when research parties go out to find them, not a single clue left behind as to what could have possibly happened to them seems to surface. So the question that many have asked is, could there be something that's causing all of these disappearances? Could it be that these areas are being preserved by the government to cover up these strange sightings and occurrences? Further evidence can be found when analysing a surprising number of cases found at the Green Mountain National Park near Glastonbury Mountain and Vermont's Long Trail. In fact, many locals regard the area with a sense of supernatural and paranormal themes, as many of the disappearances appear to happen in a relatively small area, referred to as the Bennington Triangle. The area was provided that name by locals after an unreasonable amount of disappearances began to happen during 1945 to 1950. This involved that of experienced hikers, travellers, campers and outdoorsmen. Some of these disappearances also seem to have happened while the person was still within 50 yards of their group, but still happened to vanish without a trace. The government, however, has come forward and said they know what's going on, and start off by saying that the disappearances are not so mysterious. They have said that many people visit national parks, and although they are great places to visit, many people underestimate how dangerous they can be. There's various factors you need to think about before heading to these regions, and government and national park officials have said you should always come prepared. The most common thing people pass away from in these regions is that of heat, uneven terrain, cliffs and sometimes wildlife. They say the majority of people can't be found because of how uneven the land is, further saying that people will often fall into crevices, which are really hard to investigate. They also said that national park disappearances are really low, saying that around 280 million people visit parks each year, with around 110 to 150 people losing their lives. One of the most interesting discoveries made in the world of archaeology is that of the elongated skulls. These have caused many discussions over the years, with people putting forward different theories for how they came to be. They were first discovered back in the 1920s, and ever since then various theories have been put forward to try to explain them. Interestingly listed on the FBI's website is that of missing skulls. They have named them the Deformed Skulls. Strangely, it doesn't say where they were stolen from. Some said it was strange why someone would steal one of these skulls. One thing they've done is fascinated researchers and scientists for years. Some archaeologists have pointed out that these skulls are much different from modern humans, with some of them having up to 30 to 40% more volume. For years now, mysteries have centered around these mysterious elongated skulls that were recovered near Paracas within Peru. This was back in 1928, when Peruvian archaeologist Julio Tello visited the Pisco province and discovered more than 300 elongated skulls. They were discovered in what was considered an ancient graveyard on the Paracas Peninsula. The discovery of elongated skulls is not a new one in the realm of archaeology, however, as a number of ancient cultures were known to deform the skulls of newborns. This was as they were young because the skulls could be manipulated more easier. To create an elongated head was to show as a form of higher social status. Such cultures include that of the ancient Mayan civilization, as well as the enigmatic macrocephali, also known as the longheads. What makes the discovery of the Paracas skulls inherently different, however, is that a 2014 DNA analysis of the recovered skulls showed that gathered DNA from the remains contained mutations that supposedly did not match any known human or primate DNA samples ever previously recorded. Although the DNA testing was immediately put into question by the scientific community, the lead researcher stands by the peculiar results and asks for those within the scientific community to confirm his findings and take their own test to show the validity of his claims. Due to the overall appearance and stories that have emerged from the region, various people have suggested that these beings actually came from the sky, further saying they were an ancient advanced civilization that worked to manipulate the human race during their time. Believers in this theory have said that these beings landed on our planet hundreds of thousands of years ago and slowly started to manipulate early hominids. Further evidence of these claims can allegedly be seen on the skulls themselves. Researchers have said there's a lack of sutures of the skulls, and this is evidence of their alien nature, as even cases of hydrocephaly or other known mutations still possess a variation of the sutures that do not exist within the paraco skulls, which researchers say proves them not to be the product of cranial deformation or genetic mutation. Scientists, however, have said this isn't the case, and various civilizations across our planet practice this cranial deformation. As of today though, these giant skulls are still being discovered. In 2002, Elon Musk founded SpaceX to make more affordable rockets. Its first two rockets were the Falcon 1 and the larger Falcon 9, which were designed to cost much less than competing rockets. A third rocket, the Falcon Heavy, which was scheduled for launch in 2017, which was designed to carry 53,000 kilograms to orbit, nearly twice that of its largest competitor, the Boeing company's Delta IV Heavy, and it did this at 1/3 the cost. SpaceX also developed the Dragon spacecraft, which carries supplies to the International Space Station, and is designed to carry as many as 7 astronauts. Back on the 18th of March 2020, SpaceX launched its 6th Starlink mission. SpaceX said the following on their website. Falcon 9 lifted off from Launch Complex 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Falcon 9's first stage previously supported the Iridium 7 next mission in July 2018, the Syacom 1A mission in October 2018, the Nusantara Saturn mission in February 2019, and the second launch of Starlink in November 2019. Falcon 9's fairing previously supported the first launch of Starlink in May 2019. However, it was during this Starlink mission that people reported seeing something strange. It was captured during the original SpaceX livestream video. A few reported there was several of these objects on the live cam, and it seemed as if they were observing the rocket, with one person saying the following. It looked as though these objects were following the rocket. I saw a few of them on screen and couldn't explain what they were. The objects were black in colour and had an oval shape. They could be seen flying past at a very high speed. Others have said that it's not uncommon to see these types of objects while in space. Various people on board the International Space Station have reported seeing similar crafts, saying that they zoom past the station, but in some cases they do change direction and disappear within seconds. Others, however, have suggested that the objects could have been from the rocket itself, whereas some said it could have been a piece of space debris that just so happened to show up on the live cam. After all, NASA have said the space above our planet is littered with debris. A study in 2013 said there's over 170 million bits of debris outside of our Earth that's smaller than 1 centimeter. There's over 670,000 pieces of debris between 1 and 10 centimeters, and around 29,000 larger pieces were estimated to be in orbit around our planet. As of right now, Elon Musk has said that he's not stopping anytime soon. SpaceX has plans to land on the Red Planet. He is currently working with experts and astrophysicists that are in the process of devising new ways to replenish the Martian atmosphere. Not only that, but they also plan to repair the planet's ecosystem to make it sustainable for human life. They hope to have achieved this by 2030. If this fails, NASA have said they're also looking at putting people on the Red Planet, saying they hope to do this by 2030. It's interesting to think that within many of our lifetimes we'll be seeing humans walking on the Red Planet. For decades, UFOs have been reported across our planet. They come in all shapes and sizes, with the most common ones being the disc, triangle, orb and cigar. Interestingly, various departments inside the government have focused on researching this phenomena. It turns out it's not just the public that finds these sightings interesting. An initiative that was signed into action in July of 1947 was dedicated to studying reported UFO sightings. The project was converted into Project Grunge in 1949, and then into Project Blue Book in March of 1952. Back in 2007, the Department of Defense began developing a UFO research program tasked with gathering information regarding unidentified flying objects, and conducting research as to the observed aircrafts, their origin and their technological prowess. Another place that was interested in these mysterious objects is that of the Civil Aviation Authority. They're responsible for the regulation of aviation safety in the UK. It turns out though that over the years they've received various UFO reports. What's of interest though is that these crafts were particularly large and didn't match typical UFO sightings. One report stated the following: over the years the Civil Aviation Authority has received more than a few UFO reports, which is hardly surprising. Back on the 12th of June 1982, large translucent objects 500 feet long were observed at 41,000 feet. Air traffic control requested subject aircraft to investigate this object, which was found to have the form of a double rectangle, surmounted by a globe egg-shaped crown by a silver cone. The object was observed by all on board. The Royal Air Force also came forward with some interesting reports. One of interest happened back in the 1950s. Declassified Royal Air Force documents reported that a large number of unidentified flying objects were picked up on radar. There seems to be various reports that state that every so often these objects will appear on radar. The Royal Air Force soon discovered that these objects didn't belong to them or their enemies. The military were observing crafts that were able to travel faster than anything they'd seen before. The objects climbed to over 20,000 feet in a matter of seconds. There's no tech they had or were aware of that was able to pull that off. The document stated the following: a second radar was switched on and detected the object at the same range and height. Perhaps the most interesting thing about this report was the size of the crafts. The military personnel said the crafts were much larger than any conventional aircrafts. The military went on to say the following: it was noted by the radar operators that the sizes of the echoes were considerably larger than those that would be expected from a normal aircraft. In fact, they considered that the size was nearer that of a ship's echo. All across the world, these large unidentified flying objects have been observed. It's even more interesting when declassified documents reveal that they've seen the same thing. Usually, these objects are debunked as being everyday things, but these documents prove they can even confuse the military. It's not known what these crafts are, and how they're able to travel at such high speeds. Developed as part of the European Space Agency and NASA's HelioViewer project, the Solar Heliospheric Observatory allows anyone to view its entire library. Over the years it's provided some incredible photographs of the Sun. However, some people have noticed large anomalies near our Sun. One of the most interesting ones is this photograph allegedly showing a cigar-shaped object. Interestingly, some compared this to Oumuamua, which was the first known interstellar object that was detected travelling through our solar system. Going back on the 19th of October 2017, astronomers in the scientific world were amazed when they noticed an object travelling through our solar system. The object in question had come from another solar system, and it was quickly given the name of Oumuamua. What stood out about this object though was it seemingly appeared out of nowhere, which in turn caused many to ask questions. When the researchers were able to lock on the object, they could see it travelling around the Sun and then shooting away. After this, it was not to return. Astronomers were able to record data on the object for a short period of time. After looking at the data, it turned out that Oumuamua was in our solar system for over a century. The reason Oumuamua wasn't spotted sooner is because it wasn't close enough to reflect enough light for astronomers to pick it up. This recent photograph has caused some to speculate whether this and Oumuamua are the same thing, suggesting that these mysterious interstellar objects are scattered throughout our solar system. Others went down a different route for explaining what the object could be, suggesting that it could be an unidentified flying object. Interestingly, they point to similar looking crafts that have been photographed here on our planet, and upon comparing them there is a striking similarity. This image was captured by someone using the HelioViewer. This allows you to explore the Sun. The program was developed as part of the European Space Agency and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. As stated on the NASA website, It provides a program that enables users to call up images of the sun from the past 15 years. More than 1 million images from SOHO can already be accessed, and new images from NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory are being added every day. When this photograph was discovered, it soon made the rounds online, with various people putting forward different theories to try and explain the object. One person said the following: "I think this could be a genuine UFO. I have seen similar looking cigar-shaped crafts and have no idea what they are." However, another person had another take on the photos. They said the cigar-shaped object was put there by NASA to try and hide something behind it. They say this has been seen many times with things such as the Moon and Mars photos. The man claimed there must be something interesting behind the image in order for them to have covered it up. As of right now, NASA have said this is just an anomaly, further saying the following: "Although they may seem pesky, these artifacts and anomalies are normal. They remind us that images, like any other form of data, don't speak for themselves. What we see is a product of both nature and the instruments we use to observe it." One of the most intriguing UFO reports comes from Canada. It details an encounter Stefan Michalak had with an unidentified flying object, and it's used by researchers to suggest that these crafts are interested in our planet, along with the people that live on it. The story begins in 1967 at Falcon Lake, which can be found in Canada. At the time, Stefan was trying his luck at digging some minerals. After being out there for a while, he did find a nice piece of quartz. However, shortly after this, an event would unfold that would change his life forever. He could see in the distance a bizarre-looking object. He described it as looking like an oval object, and having a reddish glow around it. He hadn't seen anything in the area prior, and noted that it seemed to have appeared out of nowhere. As he was observing the craft, he noted it began to change shape, transforming into the dish-shaped crafts that usually reported around the world. The mysterious craft seemed to have been intrigued by Stefan being there, as it soon made its way towards him. It was estimated the glowing craft landed around 40 to 50 meters away from him. As some would do in this situation, he was curious about what had landed, and so made his way towards the object. As he got close to it, he reported there was a strong smell of sulfur, and that he could hear a very quiet humming sound coming from the object itself. Intrigued by this, he then began to step even closer. This is when he heard what appeared to be voices coming from within. Stefan then asked several questions, but he didn't get a reply. He then made his way to what looked like an opening on the object. This is when things started to go badly wrong. He was then hit with a very powerful jet stream that burned his chest. The craft then started to hover above the man before making a quick exit from the area. After being hit with the mysterious heat ray, Michalak reported feeling very unwell. The area of his chest that got hit started to feel like it was on fire, and every time he stood up it felt as though he was going to be sick. He was then able to make it to the Falcon Motor Hotel, where the staff couldn't understand what had just happened. Due to him vomiting and mumbling about the events that had just unfolded, they thought he was drunk. He was soon taken to the hospital where a mysterious grid-like pattern could be seen on his chest. This was the evidence that something had struck his chest, and with enough force to be able to leave these deep marks. His vomiting was reported to have been down to radiation poisoning. Once he was feeling better, he was able to come forward and detail what had happened. Interestingly, shortly after being released from the hospital, the military were reportedly very interested in what had happened. What's so bizarre about this case is that in the following years the hospital that treated him denied it happened, but Stefan had documents to prove that he had been treated by them on that night. Stargazers across Europe have been enjoying the large pink supermoon. Although it's called this, astronomers have said there's no difference in colour. The best time to see this moon in the UK will be at around 4 AM tonight. For many stargazers, this is an event they don't want to miss. These supermoons appear much larger than usual, and have over the years produced some incredible photographs. During these events, the moon is sometimes closer to our planet, which makes it look much larger than it normally is. One NASA scientist said this pink supermoon will be 17,000 miles or 27,000 kilometers closer to us than average. Due to so many cameras being pointed at the moon, we got some really good photos from various locations across Europe. However, some people did manage to capture things they didn't expect. This is what happened to one woman who sent us the following photographs. She said the following: "I was out with my son taking photographs of the moon when I snapped this picture. We were using his telescope that we got him for his birthday, which is the Dobsonian telescope 8-inch. It's great and picks up on the moon really well. After staying out for 30 minutes or so, we decided to head back home. It wasn't until I was looking through the photographs that I noticed something strange. I certainly didn't see this during the time, and I have no idea what to make of it. Whatever it is, it looks like a giant V. I've never seen anything like this before." The woman went on to say that whatever it is, it only appeared in one photograph. On first looking at the object, it does appear to be triangular or V-shaped. This unidentified object, however, could be a variety of things. For example, it could be a satellite, or some other type of space debris that just so happened to be passing by the moon. Astronomers have said the space above our planet is littered with various materials that humans have built. A study in 2013 said there's over 170 million bits of debris outside of our Earth that's smaller than 1 centimeter. There's over 670,000 pieces of debris between 1 and 10 centimeters, and around 29,000 larger pieces were estimated to be in orbit around the Earth. It's important to note that these objects will fall back to Earth sometime in the future. NASA have said there's around 3,000 human-made satellites in working order around the Earth. However, if the debris of old and damaged satellites are taken into account, the number increases dramatically. Astronauts have reported that every so often they'll see fast objects fly by the International Space Station, and that some of these do look strange when zipping past. Glowing orbs and other strange things have been seen outside of the space station. However, NASA have said that most of these can be explained, and they turn out to be normal space debris. The question is, would this have been picked up on? I'm interested to hear your guys' opinions on what this object could be. Do you think this is a man-made satellite or something completely different? Ancient humans were brilliant at building things. Archaeologists and researchers have said that our ancestors don't get the credit they deserve. They point to structures such as the pyramids across the planet that show just how skilled they were. Other interesting things that have been found include that of artwork. Ancient man was good at drawing depictions of things they saw. This included things like astronomical events and wildlife. Some, however, have confused researchers. This is because these depictions show what appear to be large humanoid beings with large heads and eyes. One of the first ideas put forward is that these drawings look eerily similar to aliens. So what was our ancestors trying to draw? And why then are there so many of these depictions found across our planet? Going back a few years ago, the Times of India announced that they discovered something interesting inside a cave. Dr. Baggett said that he and his team found something that resembled an alien, and suggested the cave painting could have been over 10,000 years old. He went on to say that he would like NASA's and the Indian Space Research Organization's opinion on the discovery. Some theorists have suggested that going back thousands of years ago, advanced ancient civilizations flourished, and not only this, but they left behind evidence. For example, some point to the ancient stone figures found in the middle of a number of ancient Mayan ruins. These feature an almost perfect recreation of modern-day astronauts carved in stone. This stone figure has been at the center of many ancient civilization debates, and some claim that the gods were depicted in such a way due to the fact they were merely advanced creatures visiting from faraway planets. The paintings can be found in a cave close to central India. What's interesting is that when first viewing the paintings, there are many that show humans and animals. However, it also stunned researchers because it shows kangaroos and giraffes not native to India, and also mysterious-looking fish-like creatures. However, it was this painting that stood out to them. Dr. Baggett said the following about the discovery. The findings suggest that humans in prehistoric times may have seen or imagined beings from other planets, which still creates curiosity among people and researchers. In a few pictures, they are even shown wearing spacesuits. It's not the first time we found cave paintings like this, but never until now with such detail. Flying saucers, equipment, spacesuits, and depictions of abduction are some of the images one can find in this region. Again, some suggest this shows evidence of beings visiting this planet in the past, but others are not so sure, with some saying that all it shows is a tall-looking being. Some skeptics have put forward the idea these are just bad drawings, and that we're looking too deep into them. Others have pointed to objects like the Dogu figurines, suggesting that many of these strange depictions can be found. For those unaware, the Dogu figurines depict small humanoid creatures that appear to be visually similar to that of small grey aliens. The purpose of the Dogu are widely unknown, but they have been found all around the Japanese island, and have consistently dated to be somewhere around 14,000 to 16,000 years old, which is 4,000 to 6,000 years before the first human civilizations began to arise. Many members of the UFO community believe these small figures could be evidence of extraterrestrials, given their remarkable similarities between modern-day sightings. Black holes have been known for a while now, but how they affect matter and what their purpose is still debated by researchers. Black holes are notoriously difficult to find, but are known to have a strong gravitational pull. One thing that makes these objects known is the effects they have on nearby matter. This gives researchers a good chance to study them. When they're doing this, they throw out a massive amount of flares and X-rays. This comes down to the massive amount of energy that gets generated by material being heated. Researchers came forward last year and announced that they discovered something strange. They said that the supermassive black hole can be found at a galaxy that's located over 240 million miles away from us. Astronomer Andrew King of the University of Leicester in the UK said that a star survived a black hole. He said the dead star got stuck on a 9-hour elliptical orbit around the black hole. It was noted, however, that every so often the black hole sucked in parts of the star. Astronomer Andrew King said the following about the discovery. This white dwarf is locked into an elliptical orbit close to the black hole, orbiting every 9 hours. At its closest approach, around 15 times the radius of the black hole's event horizon, gas is poured off the star into an accretion disk around the black hole, releasing X-rays which the two spacecraft are detecting. Andrew went on to say though that the star did survive, saying that if it stays on its current orbit it will be torn apart for the next few billion years. It's discoveries like this that show us we really don't understand black holes. Another amazing space discovery is Holmberg 15A, a supergiant elliptical galaxy found 700 million light-years away from Earth. This galaxy is regarded as the most dormant galaxy at the centre of the Abell 85 galaxy. This supergiant galaxy was first discovered in 1937 by a man named Erich Holmberg, and was thus named after him. Holmberg's discovery of the supergiant galaxy now known as Holmberg 15A is one of his most famous discoveries to date, and one that would help researchers in future years. Secondly, this massive galaxy served as a host to one of the biggest supermassive black holes ever discovered in any galaxy. This supermassive black hole was assumed to be more than 300 billion times the mass of our Sun. This measurement was faulted as it was thought to be too big. Since the initial measurements were not exactly accurate, and based on further research, scientists have concluded that the initial measurements were massively overstated. With that being said, this supermassive black hole is still believed to be over 40 billion times the mass of our Sun. This new measurement was more acceptable and considered to be far more accurate than the former. Although this black hole is not the biggest supermassive black hole that has been discovered, it's certainly among the biggest. This black hole is believed to have been a result of the combination of two black holes, which has led scientists to the possibility that Holmberg 15A may be a result of two galaxies that came into proximity and merged into a supermassive giant galaxy. So what do you make of this incredible discovery? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.